Hello guys, it's Baricha and I'm here to give you guys an update of my week 4. And like week 3, week 4 also will be slightly different from our typical GMAT experience. So this week I am going to talk about my application process and how I went about shortlisting the schools that I am going to be applying to. So guys, the very first question to ask yourself when you decide to apply to business school is how many schools are you going to apply to and in which round? For which round to apply to, it honestly depends, but you should apply when you feel very ready and you feel like you can submit a very strong competitive application. And for the number of schools, again, it depends. In my case, I settled for 4 schools because I felt like if I apply to 4 schools, there's a good chance I can get into all of them or at least get into 2. And then also it takes a lot of effort to just get to know a school really well for you to submit an application. So I felt like I would be overextending myself if I focus on more than 4 schools. For me, I looked at 4 key things, and the very first one was I want to apply to a competitive program. So for this case, I decided to focus on the top 20 schools. And to get a good idea of the top 20 schools, you can look at Poets and Quants and again GMAT Club to just be able to see the schools that appear on this list. And you can also look at the different rankings. So in my case, I felt like if I got into any of the top 20 schools, I would be lucky. Like I would get the education I want and also the network and the post-MBA career that I am looking for. How did I narrow down on the 4 schools after looking at the top 20 list? I decided to use a 3-level segmentation that is advised on most MBA blogs. And the segmentation basically is which schools do you feel are out of your range, which school do you feel is within your range, and what school can you consider a safety school. So for me, for the 4 schools, I picked one that I felt like was a bit more competitive to get into, and then 2 that I feel like I would be a very good candidate, and then the last school is I'd say my least favorite of the 4 schools, but then also a very good school and almost below my range of the top 20. So yeah, so that's my criteria number 1. For criteria number 2, and this is a very key question to ask yourself, is affordability. So in case you get into the program, how affordable or what options do you have to be able to pay for the tuition and your living expenses? Of course, like most MBA students, I also want to rely on scholarships from the schools. If the schools do not give you enough scholarship, if you do not get a full ride, if you do not get a very competitive scholarship, like what options do you have? For this, you can consider loans, you can consider your family members chipping in. So as someone who is an international student and cannot borrow from maybe US banks, a key thing that I was looking at is whether a particular school has like arrangements to give international students loans. Criteria number 3 for me was geared more towards my post-MBA goal. So post-MBA, I want to work in a technology firm or to work in consulting, but be doing like technology consulting. So I was looking at schools that has a substantial number of its graduates getting into these 2 roles, and then also schools that are traditionally like tech focused and schools that give you options to take up like tech courses and have like tech concentrations or tracks, and so that is also key for me. my last criteria was how social a particular school is. I am going to be spending the next 2 years with these people, so I want to go and make good friends and have lifelong networks and friendships. So I really care about the social aspect of a particular school and just how close-knit a particular school is. And so for this, I reached out to students and alumni and just gauged how they speak about their schools. And then also I preferred schools that are almost outside of major towns, because I feel like if you're in a small town, it's easy to get to know each other and there's not a lot going on other than school. And so that was also a criteria. And yeah, so those are the 4 options that I was looking at, and I'm actually glad I was able to pick the 4 schools. And so I have sent in my application to the 4, and I hope for good news. Thank you so much, guys, and until the next vlog, bye for now.